guys, it's Merce. Welcome back to Harpies in the Trees, where I review horror books with a supernatural focus. So I am pretty excited to talk to you today about two books. They are very short, which is why I decided to put them in one review together. One is a novella called Honeybones. It's by Georgina Bruce, and it's only like 86 pages. And the other one is called The Nightmare Sketchbook, and it's a graphic novel. They gave me a lot to think about in certain ways, so I just wanted to share those thoughts with you and talk a little bit about these stories that they're telling. Before we begin the reviews, I just want to say that I hope you are doing well. I know that trying to stay positive during this time is becoming a challenge, but hopefully I can take your mind off of your problems for a few minutes and just share with you these two really cool books that I read. So let's get into it. So Honeybones by Georgina Bruce is definitely a twisted fairy tale. This story is about abuse and this girl trying to find a way to escape, but she's sort of trapped by a lot of mechanisms that are in place. It's almost as if she's like in a constant dream state. So as you're reading it, you are in this dreamy world of hers. And it's not dreamy because it's oh so lovely and shiny. It's dreamy because it's almost like things come in and come out. Things are changing and morphing. Information is there and then it's gone. It reminded me a little bit of Alice in Wonderland because it does have this like whimsy to it that feels similar. And she seems to be caught in moments in time where she's lucid and then she's not lucid. And we're meeting these different characters that seem kind of like, you know, like the March Hare or the Mad Hatter, where you see like one absurd kind of reflection of them, but you don't really know what their part is in this whole entire thing. It is a little hard to follow because she's sort of this in and out of this consciousness or this reality or dimension or something. And so because she's kind of moving through this landscape of her own, what almost feels like dementia at times when I'm reading it, you have to be very careful to follow along. So there were points where I was like, what? Where am I? What's happening? It's sort of bizarre, and it has almost like a druggy feeling to it as well, because in this story she is taking some medications, I think, for anxiety or something like that, or for sleeping, and so it's done very well. She's just sort of in and out. It's definitely pulling from the archetypes of traditional fairy tales, like Bluebeard, perhaps. If you're not familiar with Bluebeard, the fairy tale is, he takes this young bride and he brings her back to his multi-room home. And he tells her, you can do anything you want, you can have anything you desire, but do not go into this one room. There's always like that one rule. And he's like, you can do anything you want, but don't go in there. If you go in there, I'm gonna have to like kill you or kill your family or something. It's like really intense. And so, some time goes on and she's a good wife and she doesn't go into that room, but then I can't exactly remember like how this happens, or why she's prompted, but she opens the door in the room, and the room is filled with all of these dead bodies of his ex-wives. So I felt like there were definitely like some shadows of that in here. And also, if you've ever read the book Women Who Run with Wolves, I think there was a lot of that kind of conceptual stuff and ideology that was in here. That book was more of a study of fairy tales and kind of breaking them down and trying to hear the narrative that was written there for women. And so I feel like Honeybones sort of using some of those concepts and ideas here. The lesson in this fairy tale is for women to embrace their natural wild natures and to trust that. I really enjoyed the writing style, and I enjoyed these dark, surreal characters and kind of encounters. It does conclude like a fairy tale, and it was interesting. It like I thought about a lot of different things. Fairy tales where they, you know, fairy tales have that sort of, it's all symbolic. Everything is symbolism. The forest is a symbolism. The dress is a symbol. You know, the crown, the apple, everything is a symbol for something. And that's exactly how Honeybones is. At least I think it is. So for this novella, Honeybones by Georgina Bruce, I would say it's 4 stars. It's not horror. It's not scary. It has a few creepy moments. It is very surreal. There's a lot of dark surrealism in there. And if you like fairy tales, you like dark fairy tales, and you liked that book, The Women Who Run with Wolves, I think that, you know, you'd like this. So let's talk about this graphic novel, The Nightmare Sketchbook. Felipe Kroll contacted me and asked me if I would be willing to do a review of his graphic novel, The Nightmare Sketchbook. The story is by Vincent V. Cava, and I believe the artwork is by Moisier Muniz and Felipe Kroll, I think, or one or the other. I'm not exactly sure. But I looked at the artwork and I checked it out, and I thought that the artwork looked amazing. I don't read a lot of graphic novels, to be honest, but I, you know, was kind of looking for something different. I have been in a reading slump, and I was like, you know, a graphic novel seems kind of nice right now, you know, change of pace, and this seemed super cool. So The Nightmare Sketchbook is about I don't know if he's a man or what he is, but there is an entity, and he is called the Illustrator, and he is an observer of events, and he observes specific or special events to illustrate in his Nightmare Sketchbook. And that's kind of like the gist of the series. This is volume 1 or chapter 1. So this graphic novel opens with a wizard or a warlock of some sort, some type of ritualistic practitioner, who is very, very confident of his abilities, is trying to summon a demon from hell because he wants to enslave him for his own desires and needs. And the demon does come and hear him out and is not very interested or impressed by anything that he's hearing. So there ensues a battle of the wills. The wizard does have some type of implement that can inflict harm or pain onto the demon, so it appears that he is going to win. And so at the end of this entire ritual gone wrong, there is a individual who's just kind of been there observing, and the demon is like,
"Where'd you come from? You know, like, who are you?"
And the observer just doesn't really seem to have a presence or an aura or something, or a smell or anything like that. And the demon's just like, so the observer is able to walk away, and he is now able to document this whole entire event in his sketchbook. So for me, this was really all about the artwork. I felt like the artwork was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It had a lot of energy. It had a lot of movement. It was just really well done. I wish that I had an actual physical copy of this, just because it's so beautiful. Like, you just want to like flip through it and look at it. The story, on the other hand, to me really wasn't that interesting. I felt that it wasn't really that compelling or unique. I love demons, so I am always looking for really creative and kind of new takes on demons. I had read The Lesser Key of Solomon, which is basically a encyclopedia of Goetic demons. And this document is very interesting and intriguing, because supposedly angels gave this to King Solomon. So we have these very ancient demons, and you probably recognize them and know some of them, like Beelzebub, Baal, and Bur. They are often used in horror books and films and stuff like that. But this book is really, really cool, because not only does it tell you the name of these demons and their functions, like they can teach you philosophy and they can teach you math, and they can also spread lies and win wars for you, but also their summoning sigils, how to summon them, and also all of the implements that are needed to do so. It's like you can't just be like, here I drew a circle, here's the sigils, and I'm gonna go ahead and summon one of these generals or lieutenants or presidents of hell. It doesn't work like that. It's like you have this very specific and complicated summoning circle, which you've probably seen because they're in movies and stuff, but you also have to have a very special disc that's made out of very special materials like lead or mercury, for instance. I think this is to keep the demon in, to be able to control the demon. So the person who's summoning it would have to have the disc, and you would also have to create this disc with stuff made on certain times of the year when the planets are aligned, and using wood that has been only rained on once or something. I mean, it's really tedious and very interesting, but it just seems like you'd have to plan probably years in advance to just do one night of summoning. So I recommend reading that book if you love demons. It's just really fascinating. And in the copy that I had, there was a foreword by Aleister Crowley, who breaks down what ritualistic magic is. And it was, I don't even like Aleister Crowley, but that essay or that intro that he wrote was just really astounding, and it just stuck with me for a really long time. Just the concepts and ideas that were in there. So definitely check that out. It's really cool if you love demons. So I don't normally know how to rate a graphic novel, but I guess what I'll do is I'll kind of do it in a clunky way. The artwork for me was like 5 stars. Totally loved it. Thought it was really cool. The story, 3 stars. Like I said, I just didn't think it was like that interesting. I think for me, just like as the type of person that I am, the type of horror person that I am, it just felt like a little one-dimensional for me. But I really do appreciate Felipe sending this over to me. It was really nice of him. So that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. I hope that this was interesting for you, and I will talk to you next time.